Comically Correct Comics.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Comically Correct Comics. I'm Brian, and thank you for tuning in to another one of my videos. Today we're going to talk about something really interesting, which is the dark variant, or the black variant, of Edge of Spider-Verse 2, first appearance of Gwen Stacy as the new Spider-Woman. There's been a lot of talk about this issue in particular, about darker variants and about black variants, and I just want to share with you what I've learned on the subject and give you some recommendations and precautions to take if you're going to invest in this comic book. So there's no doubt that Edge of Spider-Verse 2 has an error printing, which is a black background instead of the dark purple or maroon background that is the normal the normal color printing. The black variant of Edge of Spider-Verse 2 is clearly black. There's no color whatsoever, and the way that you can really tell that it is the black variant is that there's no distinction between, and I'll put a picture up here, there's no distinction between the background and the buildings in this part of the cover. It just all bleeds together. That is the true black variant, and that is very rare. If you find one of those listed for regular price, pick it up, because it's worth quite a bit more. When I first started researching this error, there was one copy that I found on eBay, I'll put that up here, that showed that it was a CGC 9.8 signature series, signed and sketched, and it went for like $1,300. And this was when this particular issue was really peaking, and so that was kind of the fair market value. And it was listed as the black variant, and it went for about the same price, and the guy accepted it was a buy it now, it wasn't an auction, and it went for about the same price as the regular printing. Since then, I haven't seen very many at all come to market. One came to market with Comic Link, and that just sold in last week's auction for $2,350, I believe, and I'll put a picture of that right up here. So this is definitely the black variant according to the picture, but it wasn't listed as the black variant in Comic Link's description, and that is very standard for them, that they just put what's on the CGC label, and CGC does not recognize this as an error variant. So the collectors on Comic Link are super savvy. I mean, they're really hip to finding these little variants, and so even though it's not listed in the description, they're likely to sell for the amounts that those variants are worth. Another example of this is newsstand editions. Somebody's hip to finding newsstand editions listed as regular editions on Comic Link because they always go for crazy amounts of money, and so the only explanation for that is that the collectors on Comic Link are super savvy, and they're finding these little things that aren't in the description. So this begs the question of, is there a dark cover as well as a black cover, and is the dark cover truly an error? Now, CBCS does recognize on their label, and I'll put an image of that here, that dark and light variations exist. It doesn't say black, it just says dark and light covers exist. So that could mean several different things. It could mean that the dark is an error and that the light is the normal, or it could mean that both dark and light covers are normal printings, that they're just both in existence and they're both normal. That's kind of up to your interpretation. I'm curious to know what you think. Leave a note in the comments on whether or not you think the darker variant is indeed an error. Now, I own 2 copies of the darker variant. These are both the darker variant of Edge of Spider-Verse number 2. They're darker than the normal colors. It's clear to me, it's clear as day. And personally, I don't think that it's an error. I think that the darker variants are a standard deviation in printing. I think it's an acceptable amount of error, and that some of them are just darker than the others. That being said, I do believe that the darker variants are more rare, and I do believe that it should fetch a slightly higher price in sales. So my advice is to stay away from darker variants and only go for the black ones, unless you can get a darker variant for the same price as fair market value. Or if you can see that it's really a darker variant in the pictures, pay a slight premium, maybe $100 to $200 more than fair market value for the darker variant. It is more rare, it is more collectible, it's cooler to have in my opinion, but don't go spending $10,000 like this guy's listing it. Now, here's a really interesting thing that happened to me. You can clearly see the color in this copy. On this camera, sorry for the glare, but right there you can kind of see that it's a darker background, but it's not completely black. It's kind of purple, right? That's how it looks in real life. Shows up true to real life on this camera. However, when I took pictures on my iPhone, it turned out completely black. Check out this same picture of the same book right here that I took on my iPhone. No filters. This is just, I don't know what to call it, but just the regular camera did not pick up the purple hues on this. It came out as black. So I think there's another complicating factor to this whole conversation, and that's that some people are posting these on eBay, and through no fault of their own, they're appearing blacker than they are. So just be careful if you pick up a listing, if you think one looks black and it's not listed as black, don't expect it to be black. There could be a problem with the camera, especially if it was taken on a new iPhone. This is the iPhone 10. So with that, guys, that's all I have to say on this topic. I hope it was as interesting to you as it is to me. I'd like to close it out by saying I went to my local comic book shop and was expecting to pick up quite a few books. I went down there with plenty of money to spend and kind of came up empty-handed. I got one copy, one book, Chew #1, and I read it, and it's actually really interesting. It turns out it's a spin-off. I didn't know this, but it's a spin-off of Chew, C-H-E-W, which had a really good run with Image. And this is a spin-off of that, where it's Tony Chew, the main character in Chew, C-H-E-W. It's his sister, I believe her name is Saffron, and this is her first appearance in this spin-off. So it's an interesting title. I don't know if it's going to have any long-term potential, but you can get it for cover price. It might be worthwhile to pick it up. I'll close it out with some footage from the local comic book shop. It turns out that, you know, they're really struggling. They're having a hard time. I'm in a small town, and it just really highlights the need to get out there, support your local comic shop, even if it's online. You know, Instagram, online. With COVID-19, a lot of people are having to go online, so show support to the local comic shop community on Instagram, on the internet. There's a link in the description for my Instagram at Comically Correct Comics. And yeah, follow me over there. I'm doing some free giveaways at the time of this. I'm doing a free giveaway right now for some really cool free books. I'm always going to be giving away free books, no cost to enter. So yeah, so make sure you smash like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and check out this footage that I got from my local comic shop. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.
Comically Correct Comics.